Hi everybody, this is Odd Samurai, and today I'm going to be reacting to Chainsaw Man chapter 193. Uh, since it's been a few days since the chapter came out, I was actually considering on just uh, doing two chapters back to back and wait for the next one, but then I checked and there is no chapter next week, so it might as well get through this one um, today. So let's talk about one in 92. So yeah, Yoru decides instead to shoot uh, at the wall beside them, and because of this, Yoshida doesn't get to continue his conversation with Denji, so that gets kind of frozen in ice as the relationship takes another and probably its biggest uh, turn for the worst, as Denji has assumed that Yoshida had a big part in getting Naita killed. Uh, Also, Fami doesn't say anything the whole time they're at the cafe. So now I'm just like, well, what was the point in having her there if she didn't contribute anything? Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure she did not say a single line of dialogue here. But Yoru drags Denji out of the cafe, literally, by his ripcord. And she says she's gonna teach him how devils play. Which, as we know, that means uh, killing people in front of him. Which I do wonder, like, would Yoru say that a devil who doesn't kill isn't a real devil? Like, Nayuta only killed out of necessity. Power only ever killed other devils. Angel never really killed if he didn't have to, but of course he was under Makima, so that influenced him. Then there was violence, but you know, fiends do get influenced sometimes more than others, by the person, by the body, by the personality of the corpse that they're inhabiting. Same with Beam. But even though they're fiends, they're still devils. So that should count for something. But yeah, she just kills the first guy from an angry mob that tries to go at them. And I thought, well, what made Denji change his mind about the way that he was treating the tree people? What's the difference? And the biggest one that I could think of is that Denji did it out of necessity there. He couldn't get sustenance, like blood, other than doing it like that. He did it out of necessity, basically, to get out of there. But here, this death was not necessary at all. It wasn't beneficial for him to get out of something dicey. This death could have been completely avoidable. And I think that's why he's upset. I don't think that's the full reason, because he doesn't explain it like that. He just says you killed somebody. Which I do think that Denji, even now, wouldn't go out of his way to just kill a random person, even if they are trying to attack him. For him, just killing a human casually like that is just wrong still. But Yoru is still throws in his face that he was eating people. But Denji doesn't, unfortunately, we don't get to hear what Denji was going to say for that. But like I said, I think the necessity part of it all is why he was more willing to do it there. He felt like there was no other choice. But here, it was definitely something that, you don't have to do. So Yoru just turns to try and kill someone else, but Denji, afraid that she's gonna do it again, distracts her for a little bit and tells her that they can go eat. Of course, he just does it because she's gonna kill someone else again for no reason. And even though he's taking her away from the angry mob, she still turns around and shoots at them, but we don't see how many she kills. We just focus on Denji's reaction. Then they get to the empty restaurant, and Denji reminisces about the food when the restaurant was still functioning. So the chef comes in, and Denji tries to convince him that they're just here for food, and tells you who that is. And, well, like, you can make us some food, right? And then Yoda doesn't even let the chef say yes or no before she kills him. Denji calls her an idiot. And Yoda just has a weird expression on her face as she says that she was going to cook for him, so don't interfere. And while Denji, I wouldn't say surprised. Well, he's surprised when the chef dies, but I'd say he's more so like, damn, okay, we're really doing this. Like, he's still trying to be like, oh, okay, this is who I'm dealing with. But yeah, there's definitely something to be said about Yoru just taking all agency from Denji and trying to do everything for him, even cooking. But we get a tiny time skip, and they're already eating on the rooftop, just watching some buildings burn. Denji asks for the fire devil, but Yoru doesn't know. Though she says he'll be able to meet them when the Death Devil descends. When the Death Devil makes an appearance, the High Rankings Devil greet her. And then he asks, will the control level be there too? And Yoru knows that even if she does appear, it won't be the one that Denji formed a family with. And you can just feel the exhaustion and the despair in his face, but also just resignation. And in the panel after that, then for the first time in all of part 2, he brings up the promise that he made with Bauer about looking and finding the new Blood Devil and befriending them. And he says, she was a huge jerk. When we were together, I had a lot of fun. And then he just deflates again, as he remembers too. Even if I find her, I guess we're already strangers. Which is different from what he was thinking or feeling in 184 when talking to Aging. He was, I guess maybe adrenaline, just it felt easier talking about it in such an isolated, remote place that is not the real world. But now that he's back here, he feels once again just, full of nihilism. What's the point? I could try, but what if I can't? I could try to make them my family again. But just seeing them be the completely different people just saps away the motivation away from Denji. Even though he was so determined then to make a new family. Just everything that he was feeling before that is coming back. Like, it's definitely easier to say it than to actually go for it. And the saddest, to me at least, the saddest line in the chapter is when he calls Yoru his only friend. Because as much of a pain that she's put him through, he'd rather be with someone that sounds like wants to be with him, even if they don't actually care for him, because he's just that lonely. He'll accept anyone. Even if she'll turn him into a weapon, he doesn't care anymore. And even though he says he's kinda having fun, like, he's coping so hard. Like, you just look at his face. As if, like, yeah, sure. As if it couldn't be any more clear that he's having the opposite of fun. With how stressful his outing with Yoru was earlier. He can't even bring himself to fake a smile. But anyway, we have the last page, and that's where we left off. So, I have been spoiled by one panel of next chapter, and well, I already know that Denji is going to get sexually assaulted again. So if that's the whole chapter, I I don't think I'm gonna have any discussion in me after it. So let's see. You poor man, your family's been killed. You're a slave to your sex drive. She's talking about Nayuta. Obviously, I don't think she would know about the rest of that family. You got beaten into a pulp. Oh, the title is Burning Kiss. And even though I'm going to turn you into a weapon, you're like putty in my hands because I'm the only one who's nice to you. I like that pitiful look of yours. I want you to be even more pitiful, which makes me feel sorry for you, so part of me wants you to cheer up. Man. Could you wiggle some more? No, why not? Because you're more pitiful if I refuse. Do you hate me or something? Asa likes you. He's surprised. And since we share a brain, I like you too. This is gonna be bad. You like me? Yeah, lucky you. Oh man. Oh man, look at Denji's face. He's actually tearing up. Because of course he believes it. Even if it's a lie. You know? Even if Yoru did like him. It's such a abusive type of like that Denji's just so desperate, he'll cling to it anyway. Oh, man. Hey, if you're going to cry, let me watch. Jesus Christ. Oh, God. Yeah, he's full on crying. No, you'd better not hit him again. I'm so glad there's somebody who still likes me. I hate Fujimoto. Oh. And we get assuming as Yoru sees his expression, and Denji keeps on crying. Oh man. The fact that, like, regardless of whether or not, I do think Denji believes is genuine, but even if he wasn't sure, I still think he'd cling to it because it's the only thing that, you know, even if it's a lie, if the illusion of someone liking him can keep him going, then it's better than being alone. Yeah. Man, he's just so emotionally fragile. You poor thing. Okay, page 10, page 11. Are you dead set on having sex? He nods. Okay. Defeat the Death Devil and I'll have sex with you. Well, which number of parallel is this with Makima? Literally, I could be wrong, but it's literally almost word for word. Defeat the gun devil and I have sex with you. Like, literally just swap out one word and it's basically that scene. Hmm. Hmm. Interesting expression. I don't. I. I'm not gonna have. I don't have enough faith to think that Denji would have like that deja vu. Oh, this has happened before. Uh, but there's definitely a reason why we're focusing so much on his expression right after that. But he doesn't look happy. Of course he doesn't. If you fail, I'll turn you into a weapon and beat her myself. And that's where the chapter ends. Honestly, it wasn't as terrible as it could have been, but it was still very hard to get through. Mm, at the very least, the whole thing didn't feel like uh, retreading the exact same ground we've been here before. Uh, but some of it did. And the biggest moment. Well, there's two big moments. Denji breaking down because he thinks that there's someone that Yoru. Oh yeah, he says somebody. I think that's very important. He says somebody, which if he saw Asa and Yoru as two people and believed that both liked them, he would have said, I'm glad there's two people who still like me. So, yeah, gotta remember that Denji's still not, whether it's, doing intentionally and unintentionally, or just a hard thing to understand, he doesn't see Asa and Yoru as fully different people. So, I mean, considering how long it's been since he met Asa, I kinda get it. It makes things easier on him. But still something that he should think about. Because Yoru doing this is not just, remember, sexually assaulting Denji, but also Asa as well, who doesn't have the control over her own body and is just forced to watch as Yoru does these things to Denji and sees her own body do the things that she doesn't want to do. So yeah, Asa is also a victim in all this. Even though we don't see her, she's there. Mm, and yeah, the last 2 pages manipulating him with this promise, so Denji will do this for her. Okay, yeah. Obviously, granted, there are parallels, but Yoru's not the same as Makima. So this is bound to, intersect with that. But there's definitely gonna be different things happening as we get closer to a Death Devil happening. Like, now that the similarities are this emphasized, it's pretty obvious. Just like it happened with the Gun Devil, that things won't go as we expect them to. In fact, I highly doubt now that Denji will even fight the Death Devil. I just know that Yoru is going to do something that will make it so that this feels, this feels very like a very like fake, but like setting false expectations. But also at this point, like, I'd rather see Yoru turn him into a weapon than the other option. So I'm gonna leave it here. So please like and subscribe. See you next chapter.